My name is Benjamin Mertz. I'm an artist, an activist, and a teacher of Black history and of Black spiritual music. One of the challenges of living in a society where we view ourselves as us and them is we have this idea that people who disagree with us are extremely close-minded and that we are extremely open-minded. Now, what's interesting is if you ask the other side, they will say that you are extremely close-minded and they are extremely open-minded. So, either one or both of you are wrong or right. In my view, most of us are much more close-minded than we think we are. And that if we truly ask ourselves, if I interact with someone who voted for the other party and who strongly disagrees with me, am I myself willing to actually listen? Am I willing to actually listen without judgment first? I think that we'll realize that most of us are not actually prepared to do that, or at least not as prepared as we think we are. One important piece of this puzzle is understanding when you are or are not in danger. If someone says something that I profoundly disagree with, I don't need to react as if I've just been physically attacked. I'm not in danger just because someone disagrees with me. I'm still okay. I'm still healthy and safe, even if someone disagrees with me. So if I can take a deep breath, if we can all take a deep breath, and allow differences of opinions to exist in the world without our having a fight or flight response to them, that's an important first step to building dialogue. Okay? I'm going to listen without yelling you down if you're willing to listen without yelling me down. And then maybe we can begin to start something. What happens often is people cut one another out as soon as they hear something they don't like. People cut off family members as soon as they hear something they don't like. Now, I understand if that family member's opinion is actually dangerous to you, actually can cause harm to you, then I understand cutting those people out because I'm not a proponent of allowing yourself to be abused, of course. But as long as you are not actually in danger, then my invitation would be to listen, even to the ones you disagree with, even to the ones you don't like, because beneath the thing that they think that you think is so evil or wrong might be a kernel of truth or a kernel of struggle or a kernel of adversity. That fruit that looks so ugly to you may have been planted by a seed of suffering. And you won't be able to understand and see that seed of suffering unless you listen. And you may discover that you have some of the same seeds of suffering within you as well. And now all of a sudden, a bridge is being built. I have a special invitation I want to give to white allies when we talk about friends, family members who we view as racist or bigoted or people who we strongly disagree with, okay? A racist or bigoted person is dangerous to me as a biracial black man. A racist or bigoted person is not necessarily, especially if they're in your family, dangerous to you. And so one of the ways you can be an ally is by reaching out even when it's hard. Why? Because they may listen to you, they will not listen to me. And so it's valuable for us when you leverage the privileges that you have in order to build the bridges that people of color cannot build. There are bridges that are too far for us, but that are not too far for you if you want to be an ally. And so the hard work of calling that uncle, of talking to that cousin, and just having normal conversation without yelling at them and trying to not get yelled at, that type of healing work is work that only you can do, work that I can't do. But when you do that work, it makes the world a safer place for people like me. One more important component about reaching across the divide is what one of my heroes, Dr. Cornel West, describes as living in a fallible mode. Meaning, I acknowledge that I am fallible. I acknowledge that I am not always right. That I'm a good person who has opinions that are based upon values that I view as good, but that doesn't mean I'm right all the time. I'm wrong sometimes. If I'm willing to allow myself to be wrong sometimes and to admit that I exist in the fallible mode, that I am not an angel, but I exist in the fallible mode, it might give me just a modicum more compassion and empathy for others who are living in a fallible mode, as we all are. And so the question that I ask myself is, first of all, am I willing to forgive myself when I'm wrong? Maybe first of all, am I willing to admit that I can be wrong? That might be first. Second may be, am I willing to forgive myself when I'm wrong? And then third is, am I willing to forgive others who are wrong? And understand that life is a complicated, beautiful, strange jazz improvisation that we are all building together, and we don't exactly know what the chords are. But that if we acknowledge that all of us are in general good people who are making mistakes and who are wrong sometimes, then maybe we get closer to where we need to get to.